What's up, everyone? It's Q from RetroQ Gaming, and as you already know, because AAA releases this time of year, as well as high-profile releases, are somewhat of a rarity, Resident Evil 7 released a few days ago. It's currently Friday the 27th of January, and Resident Evil 7 released 3 days ago on Tuesday the 24th of January, to a pretty resounding reception from both players and critics alike. Now, the main reason I'm making this video is, first off, I'm just going to get one little thing out of the way, which is nothing to do with the overall point of the video. Capcom announced this morning that they've shipped 2.5 million physical copies of the game worldwide, and the demo has been downloaded across all three platforms over 7 million times. That's a pretty significant demo download, and it's not bad for first couple of days sales numbers as well. I realize it's shipped to retailers, but assuming with the popularity of the game and the general praise it's been receiving, especially from myself, I'm definitely on board with that. I can understand that it would probably have sold a lot of it. One extra thing I will say is that a lot of places have been straight up cancelling everyone's orders for the collector's editions, for the simple reason is they must have been packaged or shipped horribly, because a significant number of them seem to be broken in transit. But that's neither here or there, because that's beside the overall point that I want to make in this video. So overall, the game has been well received by players and critics alike. The game has shipped a significant amount of units. The demo has been downloaded a significant amount of times. But the part I want to touch on is something we see that's becoming a more and more rarity these days, and it makes me so happy, and it's just so delightful to actually see happen. And I partially expected this, not just because, I'm all seeing and all knowing, but simply because there was evidence to point this out eventually. Now, what do I mean? Well, we all know the Resident Evil 7 demo released ages ago, at some point last year, on the PS4. And then it was updated to another version, which still remained exclusive to PS4 for a while. And then it was updated to the final version in December. And then a couple of weeks later, it was finally released on PC. And, well, a few days after the PS4 patch, it was released on Xbox. And then, a few weeks later, it was released on PC. Now, the big thing about it is that when the demo, Resident Evil 7 Beginning Hour, the midnight version of the demo, whatever you, if that's what you want to call it, when it finally did release on PC, the game was extremely well optimized. There was a small issue with HBAO Plus support, which was eventually patched, because it wasn't an unoptimized issue, it was more of a bug by the sounds of it. But with the exception of HBAO Plus, the NVIDIA GameWorks tech, the game was exceptionally well optimized, and that's becoming a rarity these days in PC games. There's so few games that actually release in a good, stable performance state, and I love that actually happened. So when the demo actually came out and it was in such a great state, it made me very, very optimistic for the release date, or not the release date, the release state of the game. And thankfully, Capcom delivered on that. Now, Capcom is a company that has, gone through some turbulent times, and they've gone through some shady business practices. Just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna throw it out there now. Yes, I realize there are some questionable things with Resident Evil 7, extra features and DLC practices and stuff like that, but that's a whole other video. I'm not completely oblivious to those, but it's not the focus of this video. But anyway, back to the point, is that when Resident Evil 7 released on PC, the full version of the game, it ran like a dream. Now, I have a pretty high-end PC, but the fact is, I could turn everything up to max. Technically, you could call it beyond max, because I even super sampled the resolution by 20 to 30%. Depends on, I kind of fluctuated between it depending on the area and, what I was happy with. But essentially, I spent the majority of the game with an extra 20% boost in res. So the point being is that I could play this game completely maxed out with an extra 20% boost on my res, super sampled, and I would still get about 80 to 90 FPS, which is very, well, it's very. I don't want to overuse the word rare these days, but it's very. God, I don't even know. It's very humbling, if you will, the fact that a company who went through such a bad patch would actually go and do this and do it in such a positive way and deliver in such a positive way. Now, I think that's fantastic because out of my recent memory, there's very few games that launch in a great state. Sure, Doom launched in a great state, but that was a big deal for Doom because of OpenGL and ID Tech 6. But Overwatch released in a great state. We all know that was always going to be the case for the simple reason is Blizzard games are always extremely well optimized. Other than that, I mean, I'm quickly thinking through my memory of the last maybe year or two, and off the top of my head, one game springs to mind as a very well optimized new release, and it kills me to say it, but that's Metal Gear Solid 5. So you get the idea. So I just want to say, Capcom, thank you so much for putting in the time, effort, development resources, development costs, manpower, etc., to actually release Resident Evil 7 in a great looking format with a highly optimized, stable build of the game. Because that just doesn't happen very often anymore. We see games all the time launching broken and being broken for weeks and months on PC and sometimes even on consoles. And it's very rare to see that actually happen nowadays. It doesn't surprise me a little bit for the simple reason is this is essentially Capcom's reboot of the Resident Evil series, and it's very important that they get it right and they get first impressions correct. And it seems they've done that because, I mean, with the quality of the game, now when I say the quality, I mean the actual quality of the gameplay and story, etc., and the mechanics, and how well it's been received by both players and critics alike. It really goes to show they put in a bunch of effort with this game. So I think as a reboot, it served pretty well. They gave it the time and care it needed, and it makes me really, really exceptionally optimistic about Resident Evil 2 remake, which should be in the somewhat old school style for the simple reason is it's allegedly going to be remade in the same style as the GameCube remake and then Resident Evil 0, or whatever you want to call them, the Resident Evil 1 HD remaster and then Resident Evil 0 HD. But you get the idea. It's going to be like that. So it gives me optimism that Capcom actually seem to be listening for once, and they actually seem to be giving Resident Evil fans what they want rather than, well, whatever the fuck Resident Evil 6 was. But you get the idea. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you think about Resident Evil 7, what you think about the PC performance version of it, what you think about the changes in direction, the reboot, anything Resident Evil 7 related, and possibly even the fact that they gave the care and attention to release a quality PC version on day one. So let me know all of that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter. Details in the description below as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.